Okay, 5,
Yay.
4. Jesus, Mike.
What?
5. Don't distract me from my counting. It takes a lot of work. 5, 4, 3.
Hello, world. This is The Geek Life, episode 185, recording the week of Monday, February 11th, 2013. I feel like John Cleese in that Monty Python sketch where he says, I can't even get it started. Yeah. Anyway, we have a first here. We have all four of us online, which is not the first, but this is the first time we have all four of us online for a Google Hangout. And I'm trying to concentrate while everybody else is doing these weird things to try to throw me off.
Hey, I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, well, it's easier for them to do since, well, we have no show notes today because it's been very hectic.
Okay,
So
for the
I can
audience,
do that
you
too.
have to
Here's
guess
my
what this
mouse.
is. Yeah, but you see, the audience gets to guess what this is because this isn't necessarily what you think it is.
I don't know if I think that's anything. What the heck? What? Wait, what?
Is it a weird
Are we doing
marital
visual
aid?
jokes on an audio podcast? Wait.
I hope not.
No, because this is actually going up to YouTube now.
Great!
Great, pure
Hey,
humanity!
you complained about it 2 episodes ago, so.
No, well, I know. I need to drink more. Where's
It's
my
a thing.
alcohol?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Hey, please tell me you don't have a little bottle labeled WTF, because I don't have any more Sarabi to,
No,
throw at you.
I drank that one.
I got a
Do we have any
Facebook
news?
post from I got a Facebook post from
I don't think we even introduced ourselves.
Yes, I'm Richard. I'm your host, along with Melissa
Hello.
and Mike
Hello.
and Paul.
Hello.
We are very organized.
I have a beer.
Very, very organized.
You
Shows
have a
beer.
beer. You also have videos, and that's usually what we start the episode
Goodness, yes, I do.
with. So please, buy me a few minutes to scrape up a discussion topic.
There's not much out this week. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this is a slow week for catalog titles. Really, there aren't any catalog titles. It's all new stuff. Which, to some people, that's fine, especially since one of the new things is Skyfall. You, too, can own Skyfall on disc, and I know most of the people I know will own Skyfall on disc. And rightly so. It's good. Also, The Perks of Being a Wallflower is coming out this week. The Man with the Iron Fists is coming out this week. Bully, the documentary about bullying, which I hear is very good. And The Sessions with Helen Hunt's Oscar-nominated performance. And that is quite good. It's very Oscar-y. But, hey, it's Helen Hunt being a sex therapist. Well, not really. Well, not so much as a sex therapist as a sex surrogate.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yes. It's quite good. It's very Oscar-y. It's like, hey, give me an Oscar.
Oscar-y.
It's very Oscar-y, but it's a good Oscar-y. Title of the week. We do have Croczilla this week, which is, nice and simple. I admire the simplicity of Croczilla.
Oh, that's actually a title. I thought you were saying we got Croczilla this week.
We got Croczilla. No.
We're going to use that at work tomorrow. We got Croczilla for this.
And then there will be the porn remake called... Anyway. And then next week on Title of the Week. But no, my favorite one this week is Aladdin and the Death Lamp. Which makes me think... Yes, Aladdin and the Death Lamp. Which makes me think somebody really misread their Aladdin stories when they were a kid.
It's a death lamp. Why does it feel like one of those Bollywood remakes, like the Bollywood Spider-Man?
I'd pay money to see that.
I'm not going there.
So the Aladdin stories coming to America, being warped beyond belief, and then going back over to India to get warped even further.
And have a dance number 5.
Woo!
Need a dance number.
Right now?
No. For Aladdin and the Death Lamp.
I'm dancing.
This is Melissa on dubstep. Friends don't let friends dubstep.
Okay. Well, some things happened
Things happened.
Things happened.
There was the snowpocalypse.
There was a snowpocalypse. It was a bear to shovel the second day, for those of us who shoveled the first day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. You're not in Boston where they got 2 feet, but I was listening to BBC's The World, and they said a meter.
Ooh!
I've never heard snow referred to as a meter before.
A meter of snow.
I only hear that if I watch NHK and they're talking about Hokkaido in the winter. You get 2 meters of snow here. Oh, yeah, whatever.
From now on, I am referring to all of Minnesota's snowfall in meters.
In meters. A fraction of meters.
Yeah, it'll be a fraction meter.
I'm
No,
gonna
as a bear. Go ahead.
I'm going to be the ultimate metric hipster in Minnesota.
Oh, there you go. See, now we just need to come up with a metric measure for time.
Oh! I had my hipster moment today.
Mm-hmm.
I was at work today. We were discussing neighborhoods we've lived in the Twin Cities, and somebody was like, "Yeah, Seward's become all hipster." I'm like, "Hey, we moved out before it was hipster." I blame the Pizza Luce. They put one in after we moved out.
Pizza Luce is the ultimate signifier of hipster in this town.
Yeah.
And it's a very tasty one. I will give it that.
Oh yeah, it's
I do not.
They bake potato pizza. Evil.
I do not deny the value of a Pizza Luce pizza.
Yeah, we're within delivery of one now, so.
Oh God, that's dangerous.
Yes.
So, Melissa, were you really watching Chariots of the Gods?
Yes! I actually had to cut it off about 15 minutes from the end to do this podcast.
You know,
and then we dawdled for 45 minutes.
I'm so old, I saw that in the theater as a child.
No.
Back when documentaries actually showed up in suburban movie theaters.
You know that movie predates me by 5 years.
It's
entirely.
I'm not surprised.
Okay.
My memory of it is very vague.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember that. I mean, that was a whole thing. It was a whole big thing.
That was a documentary of documentary of what?
Okay. First of all, we will launch into a full discussion of this because this is actually my peak this week. Because even though I haven't finished the movie, I was having a riot watching it. So, Chariots of the Gods just showed up on Netflix streaming. And what Chariots of the Gods is it's a documentary from 1970 that posits that ancient peoples created religion because aliens visited them and taught them engineering and stuff.
Based on the book.
Based on the book, Chariots of the Gods.
Eric von Däniken.
Yeah,
Which I read in Catholic grade school.
Yeah, famous, famous, really, I don't even know what it is.
In Search of looks intellectual.
Yeah, it is the. Oh God, this documentary. First of all, this documentary was nominated for an Oscar. It was nominated for the best documentary Oscar in 1970, and it baffles
says a lot about 1970.
It says a lot about documentaries in 1970, but I find it immensely entertaining. First of all, because it launches into all these theories about, ancient people being visited by aliens in rocket ships.
They weren't?
And most of the arguments are based on, A, we don't know how people did this, and B, we don't believe that brown ancient people had the engineering sophistication to move large blocks of granite over large distances. That's 90%.
Savages don't know that.
So it must be aliens, right?
Obviously, because, anybody who's not white and European couldn't build shit, right?
I know.
Except there's a guy that's except there's a guy in the UK who's been practicing building his own model of Stonehenge with concrete pillars and stuff using 2 rocks for focal points.
Yeah,
to be able to spin them to move them.
Yeah, I saw that on Discovery or wherever. I thought it was quite cool how he figured all that out. Again, they're not sure if that's the exact way, but it proves there are ways to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, the general consensus, this is oddly via Monty ages ago, is it's the classic, the archaeologists go in and go, look at the pyramids and go, well, how the fuck do you do this? And then aliens. At some point, aliens, and at some point somebody actually goes and gets a civil engineer and says, how would you do this if you only had these? And they go, oh, well, that's easy.
Oh yeah, and you know what? If you're an ancient person and you have an understanding of levers, you know, even just a rudimentary understanding of levers, and your entire freaking life to learn how to use a lever, you're gonna learn to do a lot of shit with levers.
Yeah, and you know, you have basic math. It's not like they didn't have math back then.
You got to be very careful not to underestimate people with a lot of time on their hands and a lot of determination.
Oh yeah.
I always like that the etchings
and a lot of slaves. And a lot of slaves.
The Nazca etchings or whatever, you know, that were the landing strips.
Mm-hmm.
You find out how small some of those are.
Yeah.
In real life. It's like, they make it look like it's this huge, you know, you could land a couple of 747s on the thing, you find out it's like the length of 5 Buicks. You know, it's like only seeable from the air. Well, no, actually seeable from the hill over there that was designed to be seeable.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah.
But, you know, I had a riot of a time watching this thing just because it is so ludicrous. And it's a great practice for critical thinking, just because you can sit down with a beer and just go, every single line, there's something wrong with what this narrator is saying. It's like, I want to do a transcript and line by line go, okay, this sentence is wrong, this sentence is wrong, this next sentence is wrong, and
this sentence is really wrong.
This documentary is 43 years old, and it'd be like shooting fish in a barrel, but oh my god, it'd be so delicious to just rip into it. And it's very 70s. Oh, the little late 60s, early 70s funk soundtrack is really special.
Because the aliens listen to the funk.
Yes, and a little bit of new age.
Got the funk. Beep boop.
Yes. No, I really actually do recommend watching this on Netflix streaming because it's just a hoot.
Oh,
I want to make a drinking game. I want to make a Chariots of the Gods drinking game.
That's where I think you've gone too far, woman. Because that is liver damage. That is heavy, serious liver damage you're talking about. Because, I mean, where do you not drink during that?
It's liver damage in the name of science.
It's Russian roulette. It's like, who lives to the end of the movie? You have the most powerful liver. You win the Darwin Award.
I win the
Whoever switched to water the soonest.
I win the Christopher Walken role in The Deer Hunter.
They remind me of the next movie from when we were young that needs to be reshown, similar to Battle Beyond the Stars, that might have fond memories until you rewatch it. Crawl.
I love Crawl.
Memory cheats.
I love Crawl.
The best thing about that
We'll show that again. Oh.
I have Crawl and Laserdisc. I love Crawl.
I'm thinking we'll do that for a slightly larger group in the future.
I don't know. I'm still trying to see a copy of Sword and the Sorcerer, which just seems to have like disappeared.
Oh, that one's hard to find.
It is, and I'm not quite sure why. It wasn't that awful. Or cheap.
It was fun, actually. Also, Twice Upon a Time, that animated film that George Lucas was somehow involved in.
Yep.
That was actually really quite surprisingly entertaining. Very odd film. Very art school circa 1982, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's risky.
Yeah.
Well, something else happened over the weekend, and that was the Surface Pro sort of shipped.
It's sold out! It must be a success!
Or it's sold out, it must be a failure because they totally screwed the pooch by not making enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, they sold out because they made 12 of them.
And that's the thing we don't know. The Microsoft stores apparently had some, and people were queuing up to get them. But I've read numerous stories from people that were checking out Best Buys and Staples, and they got maybe like 1 or 2.
Wow.
I think Microsoft shorted the channel out of. There was some conspiracy theories as in, did they short it to make it look good? And I think Microsoft more probably shorted the channel out of we don't know how well this is going to sell, so we'll put out a conservative number of them.
I think that's exactly what it was, and I think after the Surface RT not selling as great as they wanted. I think they were being very cautious, which, given that they're sitting on 40, 50 billion in cash, on the other hand, is kind of a stupid move. Mm-hmm. You know, if flood the market, and if they're not selling, start giving them away to VARs and consulting companies and big customers.
And report sales numbers like Samsung. Sorry.
Yeah. Why not?
So instead of reporting, sales, you report shipped numbers, and it looks good.
But
it works for everybody else.
Yeah, but what's interesting is, and I'm not terribly surprised by this, it sounds like everybody was going after the 128 gig model. People just were not interested in the 64 gig model.
Yeah.
Which really kind of begs the question, why'd they even bother to make it?
Oh, they didn't know. Who'd want a 128 gig iPad? Oh, wait.
Well, yes, but at least on the 128 gig iPad, more than less than 10% of the storage space is used for the OS and recovery. Which I'm not going to beat that story to death. We've been over that one, but yes. So, but the disappointing thing is, if you go to Microsoft's online store, you can't order one. It just says out of stock. And at least Apple they'll take your order and they'll put you in a queue and they'll ship one when it's your turn.
Yeah.
This is not a hard thing to do, but
apparently it is.
Don't get me started on that. That goes back to when they announced the damn things. I think their first major misstep was not having any available, because Apple, at least when they announced any of their big seller things, like from the iPhone to the iPad. Well, the iPhone took a couple. They said it was going to be a couple of months, but they were on date at least. They didn't give this vague date, but it was basically okay. In a week, in 2 weeks, you can pre-order starting 3 days from now, and 3 weeks from now we will have shippable product, and it's first come first serve, and that works great. And Microsoft's big mistake, in my opinion, was here's this neat tablet thing we're coming out with, and nobody can buy them for about 4 or 5 months. But we're not sure exactly when. We'll tell you in a bit. It's like, way to kill the buzz, dudes. I mean, if you don't have product in hand right away.
Yeah. Well, or at least a product that the journalists can get their hands on and try out and then start building a buzz.
Right.
But, they wouldn't let people touch
it.
Yeah. What's going on with
that? I love that they call it the Surface and they don't let people touch it.
It is the Surface RT and the Surface Pro, and now people are like, what's the difference? Well, it's Pro, so it's Pro.
Yeah, I think they actually made a real big mistake in doing the RT before the Pro, and I realize that sounds like I'm looking back with hindsight, but my suspicion, and I have no evidence to back this up, this just seems logical to me, is they came out with the RT first because they were really trying to force the point of Metro applications, which is the only thing, aside from Office, that the RT will run. And then let 3 months go by before the Pro comes out. And I honestly think they really should have probably done it the other way around, because the Pro seems to be the one that everybody's interested in, and the Surface seems to be languishing, mostly because of a lack of applications. Paul's waving Mao's little red book in front of us.
I have one.
But
this says how to sell Windows RT, I tell you.
Little red book.
There's an interesting
Gates book
suggestion that the big problem Microsoft has is, now that you've got people interested in this, but you don't have anything to sell them, people are going to start looking at the alternatives, and this may be more of an opportunity for Samsung. They have their Ativ, or Lenovo has the Yoga, or some people may just say, well, screw it, I'll buy a MacBook Air.
Have you seen the Surface Pro television ad?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I posted it somewhere. It was on YouTube. Where Windows RT makes all the hipster school kids dance, the Windows Pro ad makes the hipster business guys in the redone warehouse office breakdance. Nowhere do they talk about the product, mention the product, explain the product. It's the same thing as the RT ad, where they show them clicking and dancing, everything, except it's an office setting. So the only thing I can tell of Pro versus RT is Pro makes you dance in an office, and RT makes you dance at school.
Nice.
RT also makes you do this.
Same thing in the Pro too, and the flipping out of the bottom, the little stand.
It sounds like they took the wrong lessons away from the Apple iPod commercials.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I watching this ad. I'm like, exactly. It's like, and
well, Microsoft
except the Pro, you also get a stylus, so they actually showed the use of the stylus in artistically tapping ways. So.
See, that's the thing. That's one value proposition they have that none of their competitors have. They really need to be pushing that, and it's not as if OneNote hasn't been pen-enabled since, well, it first existed.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the iPhone and the iPad apps, and the only thing you see of a person is a hand. And you see them manipulating the device and using, well, maybe there aren't enough apps to show off yet, but seriously, it's, and if you want to make the Pro fly off the shelf, 1 year of Office 365 Home Premium for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a promo in there. It's not like Microsoft can't afford to lose money for a little bit while they try to capture some market here.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're trying to catch up from behind. It's not like they're striking out on the field as the pioneers of this technology.
Yeah, it's not like they don't have competition either.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I wonder who they think their competition is. I don't have a good answer for that.
Their own worst enemies are themselves. Mike, you and I, man, you and I.
We got it,
man.
Worries me. Anyhow.
But at least now I see the problem is now I'm debating because we got these Surface tablets at the company we work at, and it's like, well, I know I could sell this thing on eBay and get about $500 for it. Do I then go and get a Pro? But nah. I'm only keeping this because I'm looking at doing some RT programming, so I can add that to my toolbox.
See, I'm keeping mine because it's next to my bed, so if I need to surf the web or read something at night, it's upstairs. Because in my first world problems, I don't want to have to lug my Apple iPad up a flight of stairs because it's heavy.
I'm sorry. I couldn't keep a straight face.
I can't. You're not my friend, Paul. You're not my friend.
Well, it used to be the Kindle, but I gave my Kindle Fire to Wendy, so it's not, the Kindle's not next to my bed anymore. So now it's
that one is a man. This is just too heavy to lug around.
Oh yeah, the Kindle was
That thing is deceptively heavy for its size.
You fall asleep and that just dents your face. I mean, it's
But moving on to another topic.
Moving right along.
I have had one problem the last 3 or 4 weeks that's really starting to get on my nerves.
You should see a doctor about that.
They can't help. I'm getting robocalls on my cell phone 2 to 3 times a day.
Where the hell from?
The same thing over and over again. It's card services.
Oh, the card services got your cell phone.
Yeah, and
you know what you do. Outside of actually blocking them, which you can do with some cell phone companies, you can, at least on an iPhone, you make a ringer that is just silence.
Oh, there you go.
A ringtone, and then you assign those robocall numbers to that ringtone. So I just have one contact in my iPhone's contact book that is auto dialer, and any new phone number that comes in, it's like, oh, that's a robocall. I add that to the auto dialer one, and the ringtone for that is silence.
There you go.
So the phone doesn't even ring.
See, now what I want to do...
turn off the vibrate too?
I know where you were going with this, Richard, and I totally wanted to derail it for my own
that's
purposes.
Okay. I'll tell you what I would love to do, what I've always thought of doing, and I've just never gotten off my lazy butt and done it, is to get a recording of that 3-tone sound you get when you call a disconnected number and put that at the very beginning of my voicemail greeting. Because some of the robo-dialers will pick that up and then go, oh, I should stop calling this number for a while because I'm wasting my money.
Nice.
The number you
See
have
where I've
911 has been disconnected.
Nice.
I've just started doing my dad's habit. If I actually pick it up, I don't answer. If it's one of the numbers we don't recognize, I'll just sit and wait.
I don't
either. If it's a live human, it's fun because it's like, hello? Hello? Oh, hi!
See, that's what I'd want to get, one of those air horns. Just,
Oh, no.
No,
You know those callbank people are like poor college kids who desperately need the money.
I know. That's why I don't.
I can't justify, I mean, those poor people. I'm so sorry.
Those poor people. But
no,
I
I'd just rather just let it go into the ether.
Yeah. So I've got an article that came up today. The Federal Trade Commission put up a $50,000 bounty for someone who could come up with a way to stop robocalls. And as I was mentioning to...
Kickstarter.
Does it have to be practical?
Well, this isn't practical, but it's an interesting prototype, and it has a twist that ties into something we've talked about a lot. One of the entries was a 24-year-old Linux sysadmin from California named Alex Ruiz. And he came up with a system using a Raspberry Pi and an analog telephone interface that allows you to whitelist phone numbers.
Huh.
So basically what happens is the analog phone comes in, the device gets the caller ID, which is pulsed down the line before the call starts. And it can compare that to your whitelist, and if it matches, it'll forward the phone number to a VoIP setup that you have internally in your home. Otherwise, it just like dies. But he said,
Nice.
I felt the Raspberry Pi was economically viable and Linux is flexible enough for me to write whatever I need to. If I need to test 8 units quickly, even on a budget, I could do this.
Nice.
He calls his product the Banana Phone.
Ring, 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 ring. Banana phone.
And I
am so totally sold on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complex thing, but I have no reason not to think that this couldn't be built or reduced down to something that's primarily software, because most people, they've got wireless phones and the base station has an answering machine in it anyway. So could you set up something like that to have a whitelist like you can do on your cell phone that says, if this number doesn't match one of my whitelists, maybe like ring it once and then throw it to voicemail immediately, because you might still want to know about it. It could be a friend you haven't put on the list yet or something, but...
Is it my parents?
Yeah. That kind of thing. Or, another one might be, if it's on the whitelist, forward to my cell phone. Otherwise, then you could use your landline, which most people get free with their cable now. You could use your landline as a sink for the crap you don't want, because, frankly, we ignore the landline most of the time anyway.
I don't even have a phone hooked up to mine.
Sorry, I'm just thinking forward to Zimbabwe.
Ooh, there you go. Ooh, yeah. No, wait. I think you pay the tolls on the forwarded call.
Unfortunately, do, yes.
Which is too bad. What's also too bad, the sharks are starting to circle the Dell leveraged buyout. Apparently, T. Rowe Price came out this week and said they're voting against the buyout because basically they want more money.
I just spilled beer on my computer. Sorry.
Southeastern Asset Management also is opposing the buyout. This is why we can't have nice things.
I know. I don't. It's like Dell's offering $14 a share. One of them was saying, well, no, it's really worth $24 a share. It's like, well, if it's worth that, then what's the... I mean, I haven't checked what the Dell price is at. It might be close to that. But it's like, you just want the money. You guys are being greedy. And this whole attitude of one I saw was like, well, it's not fair to the shareholders. And I'm kind of like, well, screw the shareholders. you bought the stock secondhand. You own an interest in the company now, but all you care about is the stock price of the company. And if you don't let this happen, where is it going to go? Even Michael Dell's like, we're downhill otherwise.
Yeah, the current trading price as of the time we're recording this is $13.79. So, they're offering a $10 premium. That's almost double.
Yeah.
So what are you griping about?
Well, he's offering 14. So you're a dollar up from that. Okay. But they want 20. Well, at least one I saw said it's worth 24 a share, and I'm like, if it's not trading at that, then that's not what it's worth, is it? Yeah. If one believes that the market's accurate.
Yeah, it's just kind of bouncing around there.
Yeah. So it's like, and I guess I just don't get. It's like, fine, maybe you invested when it was a lot higher, but tough. It's just as bad as like if you had to sell it and cut the loss. Just cut the loss. Invest in something more worthwhile.
Well, maybe in something that's the future rather than the past. I hate to be down on Dell because I feel like I'm kind of kicking them in the nads when they're down. But
I think the only way that Dell becomes the future or has a chance at is if they go fully private, because then there's a lot of things that frees them up for that they can't do right now. And by keeping them public, they're just going to keep getting kicked. So I know I kind of like to see it happen because it hasn't happened in ages. I'd be interested to see what Dell does with the company if it goes private. And I think anybody who's blocking is just being overly greedy, or it's just as bad as like dropping your beer on your keyboard.
Yeah.
Way to wrap that up in there, Paul.
I cleaned it up. I even got in between the little keys.
Yeah, at least you don't have to like lift the computer up and drain it.
Well, at least it was just the keyboard. I
want to see sparks fly.
Well, that pretty much takes care of the...
Oh, no, I don't want to log out. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And the fight starts.
Well, that pretty much,
in the Terradome.
That pretty much takes care of the
Sunday.
stories we knew about, or the ones that were worth talking about.
Mike walks away.
Yeah, Mike's done. Mike just rage quit this episode. It's like, man, I'm out of here.
Drops Mike, leaves stage.
Yeah.
Yep, wait, last minute. Mike. The CW renews Arrow, Supernatural, and the Vampire Diaries.
How you can tell they're not the Fox network.
Yeah, they actually renew their shows.
They let the show run for a season.
Wow.
So wait, what about Arrow now?
Yeah, Arrow got renewed.
Oh, good.
I guess the ratings must be acceptable.
I'll have to watch it sometime.
I wonder about Supernatural. I can't imagine it being, really hugely popular. It must have a really good demographic for the advertisers.
Yeah, I think the ladies are supporting that one.
Yeah, I can see
ladies.
The ladies.
Yep.
I don't watch it, so I don't.
I know a couple of people in the UK who are like massive fans of it too. So.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
The one thing I'll give the show credit for is they'll occasionally do the kind of episode that like Hercules or Xena did, which is essentially a spoof of itself. They'll let their hair down and do really stupid things to point out, the whole basis of the show is kind of silly.
I can support that.
Yeah. So I guess let's move on to peaks. Now, Melissa, we talked about Chariots of the Gods already, and boy, that's definitely peak material.
That's a doozy, man. Also, I got another one I could do really quick.
Fire.
The Heights Theater in Columbia Heights, Minnesota, is running a film noir series right now on Monday nights.
Oh, cool.
So for the next 3 Mondays, they're, I think, starting at 7:30 in the evening, they are running, I believe next week, it's Dead Reckoning with Humphrey Bogart. On the following Monday, which is my birthday, happy birthday to me,
happy birthday.
It is the lineup with Eli Wallach. And on the following Monday after that, which is the first Monday in March, we have Gilda with Rita Hayworth.
Nice.
So some great stuff. Last night, we're recording on a Tuesday. Last night I was there, and they actually did a double feature of In a Lonely Place with Humphrey Bogart, and which is fantastic if you've never seen it. And also My Name is Julia Ross, which was delightfully trashy. It's great. If you ever find My Name is Julia Ross, it is a hoot. Just
nice.
A hoot.
Funky.
Yeah.
Paul, how about yourself?
I'm going to plug a movie that my wife forced upon poor Melissa recently.
Oh boy.
Well, it's one of two, but I'm going to go with the bad one. Wait.
That narrows it down.
The worst of the two? Are you?
What do you think is the worst of the two? The one that began with P?
I think the Finks is...
Yeah, the Finks is what I was going to go for.
Oh.
I think I got this out of Warner Archive for Wendy as a Christmas present or a birthday present, which speaks to sort of household we are. The Finks, Phynx. You can find it on IMDb. It came out in 1970. It's not a documentary, and it never came close to the Oscars.
Okay, The Finks came out in 1970. Chariots of the Gods came out in 1970. Coincidence?
Aliens had to create this film.
Aliens had to create these movies.
It is basically you have the super secret agency, I think that is what it's called, that realizes that famous people are being, Melissa's losing already, famous people are being kidnapped, and so they create a rock and roll band to sneak into, which country was it? Not Austria.
It was Albania.
Albania. To sneak into Albania to rescue these people. These people include Colonel Sanders.
Actual Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, they actually got the real people.
And like else? The gold diggers of 1933.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, no, you have no idea. No idea.
Martha Ray.
And
Ultraviolet, Pat McCormick. Who else is in this? And yeah, basically it's a youth band that they create, a la artificial youth band, to sing some tunes that, if I could get the soundtrack to this film, oh god, that'd be just horribly wonderful. You have Mother, the robot computer thing with cone-like spinny breasts.
with Madonna breasts.
That spin.
And
it
produced Data, apparently.
This movie like buried itself within the year it came out, to the point that nobody really heard of it, and Warner Archive has nicely released it on DVD because they're insane.
Because why not?
And,
because there are people like your wife.
Yeah, well, there's people like my wife. There's Fess, who probably needs counseling now.
You know what? Fess swears he's seen it before.
That doesn't surprise me.
I know. Well, it surprises me because he's seen almost nothing. But although the things he's seen, there are some strange things he's.
Well, it's one of those. Brain. I could believe that depending where and when it aired, or if somebody got a hold of it. It's one of those you might be in the right place at the right time to see it. Oh, there we go. Busby Berkeley as himself, Xavier Cugat as himself, Fritz Field as himself, Ruby Keeler, Joe Lewis, Marilyn Maxwell, Maureen O'Sullivan, Harold Sakata, Ed Sullivan, Rana Barrett, James Brown. Yes, James Brown.
James Brown just shows up for that long.
Yeah.
Butterfly McQueen, Richard Pryor in the scene where he's showing them how to get soul, and our black guy in the band goes, "Dude, do you really eat this stuff?" Yes, he's serving them soul food. That's the joke. It's watching Richard's reaction. It's you want the bad 70s racist jokes? It's in there.
Oh, and the band itself is multiracial.
Yes.
One of them's an American Native American.
Yeah.
And oh my god. the jokes that man takes.
Honest Injun, did you have to say that?
Yeah.
You really went there? Yes, it's all like that.
There's a Firewater comment in there.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, Firewater comment. That's the bar he goes to.
Yeah.
It's on the sign. bar.
Yeah.
So yeah, so please see the Finks if you can. Even if you have to buy it, it's worth the money. Kind of. At least to abuse your friends with.
This is a value of worth the money that I was previously unaware of.
Did you get our copy, by the way, before you left?
Yes, I do have it here.
So you can abuse appropriate people with it.
Yes, I fully intend to abuse others.
So be warned, Melissa has our copy. Mm-hmm. It's not under lock and key.
My apartment is weaponized.
I will borrow that when she's done. I have no pride.
Oh yeah, it's woohoo. So that's my peak, thanks to my wonderful wife and the things I buy her off her wish list and then go, what sort of family are we?
The kind that keeps Warner Archive in business.
Yes.
As Wendy pointed out and Melissa agreed that night, the movie you'd follow the Finks up with is probably Americathon.
Yeah.
Americathon!
Which we have a copy of also as a Christmas present for my wife.
Kedzooks. Mike, do you have a peak?
Not really. I got a SodaStream a few days ago. So
you're such a hipster. Hipster.
I know. Well, I'm trying to save the planet and that.
The only problem with the SodaStream is all of their syrups have sucralose in it, except for a few of the natural.
No. It's not their syrups. You have to do other things. There was some major New York chef who said, "White wine, your friends won't know." Instant champagne.
Yeah.
Take a decent bottle of white wine and carbonate it.
Yeah. No, I'm looking through recipes and stuff for other syrups to try too. I want to try some of those.
Your beer in it. I can't wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, I have a kegging system, dude.
Easy.
Yeah, but you can get some nice flavors in the SodaStream. They've got a pear black currant that I've tried out. If you're gonna get the Best Buy started carrying them, but they just got the crap. But if you're near a Bed Bath & Beyond, they tend to have some of the slightly more esoteric flavors, and those get interesting.
Yeah, that's where I got mine. So
that's the way you do it.
Yeah, if they start doing lemon basil or something like that, yeah, I'll be on board.
Oh, limoncello.
Ooh.
That'd be fun to do.
Ooh.
Well, then again, just make your own syrups.
Mm-hmm. Syrup? What? I'm just talking. Take the bottle of.
You just take the bottle, you carbonate it, put some Mentos in there, and run away.
I take my bottle of Tanqueray, I put it on the system. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably have a better review for it in a couple of weeks once I've had a good chance to try it. But
I'd honestly, I'd be curious because we were debating getting one just for the fun of it, just to play around. So
I've enjoyed ours. We tend to go through periods where we use it a lot, and we kind of slide off, and it sits for a while, and then we get interested in it again.
Okay.
But yeah, for a $10 bottle of syrup, you get a lot of liters out of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
but no Super Bowl ads.
Poor Coke. So for that, I'm going to skip the peak this week and allow us to wrap up the show. This should give us a nice short but good length. That just leaves it to me to remind people we are on the web at thegeeklife.tv. We have 2 email addresses we ask people to use. You can send us story suggestions to stories@thegeeklife.tv. And anything else, questions, comments, criticisms, shout-outs, anything like that, you can send that to talkback@thegeeklife.tv. Our voicemail line is 612-567-6515. And if you don't like making the phone call, you can go to the website, click on the Google Talk link, and it will call you. We are on Twitter as The Geek Life TV, Facebook as The Geek Life, and Google Plus as The Geek Life Podcast. I have been your host, Richard. We will talk again next week along with Paul.
Adios.
And Mike.
Later.
And Melissa.
Bye-bye.